Welcome back, Coinology. Imagine holding a tiny 1-cent coin in your hand, something most people ignore, something people drop on the street without even bending down to pick up, something often left forgotten inside drawers, cars, or old jars, yet hidden inside that small copper-colored circle could be a story stretching across more than a century of American history, technology, politics, economics, and collector obsession. And today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2019 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a modern penny that many people believe is ordinary but which collectors carefully examine under magnifying glasses, searching for rare variations, mint marks, and microscopic details that can transform a coin worth 1 cent into something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition, rarity, and demand. The 2019 penny continues one of the longest-running coin designs in world history, the Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, making it the first regular United States coin to feature a real historical person rather than symbolic imagery, and that decision forever changed American coinage because Lincoln's portrait became a permanent national icon carried daily by millions of people across generations, surviving wars, economic crises, technological revolutions, and cultural change. And by 2019 the Lincoln Cent had already been circulating for more than 110 years, making it one of the most recognized coins on earth. When you look at the front side of a 2019 penny, known as the obverse, you see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB appear subtly on modern coins, and this portrait has remained largely unchanged since its introduction, symbolizing stability and continuity in American currency design. While above Lincoln's head appears the phrase "In God We Trust," to the left the word liberty, and to the right the year 2019 along with the mint mark indicating where the coin was produced. The reverse side of the coin features the Union Shield design, introduced in 2010, representing the preservation of the United States as a unified nation during Lincoln's presidency, with 13 vertical stripes symbolizing the original colonies held together by a horizontal bar representing federal unity, and across the shield appears the inscription E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, reinforcing the message of national unity that defines both Lincoln's legacy and the symbolism of the penny itself. Now let's talk about the physical specifications, because even the scientific details of a coin play a role in its value and collectability. The 2019 Lincoln Cent weighs exactly 2.5 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and is composed of 99.2% zinc coated with a thin outer layer of copper measuring only a fraction of a millimeter thick, a composition used since 1982 to reduce production costs while maintaining the traditional copper appearance familiar to the public. Most people assume all pennies are identical, but collectors know that mint marks create entirely different varieties. In 2019, pennies were struck at multiple United States mint facilities, including Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, San Francisco producing proof coins marked S, and most importantly the historic West Point Mint producing coins with a W mint mark for the first time ever on a Lincoln Cent, creating enormous excitement among collectors worldwide. The West Point penny became instantly famous because it marked the first time in history that circulating style Lincoln Cents carried the W mint mark, released as special collector bonuses rather than regular circulation coins, with a limited mintage of roughly 1.3 million pieces, which is extremely small compared to billions of standard pennies produced each year, instantly giving the coin a collectible identity even before collectors examine condition or grading. But here is where the story becomes more interesting, because value in coin collecting rarely comes from age alone. Instead, rarity, condition, and error varieties determine price. A normal circulated 2019 penny is generally worth only face value, 1 cent, yet coins preserved in near-perfect mint state condition graded MS65 or higher can command premiums because very few coins survive circulation without microscopic scratches or wear marks caused by handling and contact with other coins. Collectors often use professional grading services that evaluate coins under magnification, assigning numbers on a scale from 1 to 70, where 70 represents a flawless coin with no visible imperfections even under magnification, and achieving such a grade is extremely difficult because coins begin receiving tiny marks the moment they leave minting equipment and fall into storage bins. Because of this, a pristine 2019 penny sealed in a professional grading holder may sell for many times its face value simply due to condition rarity rather than metal content or age, illustrating how perception and preservation can transform ordinary money into collectible treasure. Another factor driving excitement around the 2019 penny is mint errors, accidental variations created during the manufacturing process when dies crack, shift, or strike incorrectly. These mistakes are not supposed to leave the mint, yet occasionally they do, and collectors actively search pocket change hoping to discover one of these rare anomalies. Some documented 2019 penny errors include doubled die varieties where letters or numbers appear doubled due to misalignment during die creation, off-center strikes where the design appears shifted leaving blank metal on one side, retained interior die breaks creating raised unusual shapes, strike-through errors caused by debris interfering with the stamping process, plating blisters, weak strikes, and rim lettering abnormalities, each turning a common coin into a collectible curiosity. Depending on visibility and condition, certain 2019 error pennies have sold for anywhere between $10 and $50 or more, while minor errors might still attract collectors willing to pay several dollars for unusual examples. This difference between face value and collector value creates the thrill that drives modern coin hunting, the idea that hidden wealth might already exist inside everyday pocket change waiting to be discovered by someone observant enough to notice small details others ignore. Online communities frequently discuss these discoveries, with collectors sharing photos of newly found coins and debating whether unusual marks are true mint errors or simple post-mint damage. And many experienced collectors emphasize that genuine errors are rare because the mint employs strict quality control processes to prevent defective coins from entering circulation. Despite internet claims suggesting modern pennies are worth massive fortunes, experts warn that exaggerated prices often come from misinformation or speculative listings rather than real market sales, meaning collectors must rely on verified grading, auction history, and realistic demand when estimating value. Still, the excitement remains real because history shows that even modern coins can become valuable decades later if preserved in exceptional condition, especially if production methods change or certain varieties become historically significant. The 2019 penny also represents an important transitional period in modern numismatics, combining traditional mass production with special collector releases like the West Point issues, bridging everyday currency and collectible artistry in a way rarely seen in earlier decades. Every detail on the coin carries meaning, from Lincoln's calm expression symbolizing leadership during national crisis to the shield representing unity, and even the inscriptions serve as reminders of philosophical ideals embedded into American currency design. When millions of people handle a coin daily, few realize that each piece passes through countless hands, travels across cities and states, witnesses economic exchange, and becomes a silent participant in human stories, making coin collecting not just about money but about preserving fragments of lived history. And as collectors continue searching rolls of pennies obtained from banks, carefully examining dates, mint marks, and surfaces under bright lights, the humble 2019 cent becomes more than currency. It becomes a puzzle, a hunt, and sometimes a gateway into a lifelong passion for numismatics. And as we continue diving deeper into the world of the 2019 1-cent coin, we begin to understand that its true story is not just about metal and design, but about economics, production numbers, collector psychology, and the powerful myths that sometimes surround modern coins. Many sensational claims appear online suggesting that a 2019 penny is worth $84,700 million, numbers so large they almost sound unbelievable, and in reality, the market does not support such extreme figures for standard 2019 Lincoln cents. However, understanding why such rumors spread is part of understanding how coin markets function and how hype can influence perception. The real market value of a 2019 Lincoln cent depends primarily on mint mark, condition, and whether the coin is a special variety or error. Regular circulation pennies from Philadelphia and Denver were produced in enormous quantities reaching into the billions, which means supply is extremely high. When supply is high and demand is moderate, prices remain low. That is basic economics. A circulated 2019 penny generally remains worth 1 cent, and even uncirculated examples typically sell for only a small premium unless they achieve very high grading scores. The West Point 2019 W cent, however, created significant excitement. These coins were not released into circulation randomly but were distributed as special editions to proof sets, and because the mintage was limited compared to billions of circulation coins, collectors rushed to obtain them. In the early days after release, some graded examples sold for strong premiums simply due to the novelty factor and limited availability. Over time, as more coins were graded and population reports increased, prices stabilized according to real collector demand. Professional grading companies play a central role in determining value. Coins graded MS67 or MS68 often bring higher premiums than lower grades because achieving such quality is statistically rare. A difference that is invisible to the naked eye can represent a major difference in value once examined under magnification. This is why collectors carefully store coins in protective holders, avoiding fingerprints, moisture, and environmental exposure. The manufacturing process of the 2019 penny is also worth exploring in detail. It begins with zinc planchets, small circular blanks that are cleaned and prepared before receiving a thin electroplated copper coating. The plating process must be consistent because any variation can result in surface irregularities. After plating, the blanks pass through striking presses where dies imprint Lincoln's portrait and the Union Shield design with tremendous force. Modern minting presses can produce hundreds of coins per minute, meaning billions of pennies can be created within a single year. Because of this massive production speed, minor imperfections occasionally occur. When a die begins to wear down, tiny cracks may form. If not replaced immediately, those cracks transfer onto coins as raised lines known as die cracks. Some collectors specifically seek coins with dramatic die breaks, especially if the break creates a distinctive shape. While most minor die cracks add only small premiums, dramatic errors can generate substantial interest. Another popular variety among modern penny collectors is the doubled die. This occurs during the die creation stage when the hub imprints the design onto the die more than once with slight misalignment. When such a die strikes coins, letters and numbers appear doubled. True doubled dies are distinct from mechanical doubling caused by loose machinery. Learning to distinguish between the two is a crucial skill for serious collectors. The 2019 penny also reflects broader debates about the future of the 1-cent coin. For years, economists have argued that producing pennies costs more than their face value due to material and manufacturing expenses. Discussions occasionally arise about eliminating the penny entirely, similar to what other countries have done with low-denomination coins. If such a change ever occurs, certain final-year issues could gain historic importance, potentially increasing collector demand. Condition remains everything in modern coin collecting. A coin pulled from circulation with visible wear, dull luster, and contact marks may never rise significantly in value. However, coins obtained directly from mint rolls and preserved carefully can maintain original mint luster, that brilliant reflective shine created during the striking process. Under proper lighting, uncirculated coins display cartwheel luster that rotates across the surface as the coin tilts. Collectors often search bankrolls in hopes of finding pristine examples overlooked by others. Roll searching has become a popular hobby because it allows collectors to hunt through large quantities of coins at minimal cost. While most finds are ordinary, occasionally someone discovers an unusually well-preserved specimen or minor error worth setting aside. Market value is also influenced by certified population reports. Grading companies publish data showing how many coins have been graded at each level. If only a small number of coins exist at the highest grades, collectors seeking registry set competition may bid aggressively for those examples. Registry sets allow collectors to compete by assembling the highest graded coins in a series, creating additional demand for top quality pieces. Another interesting aspect of the 2019 penny is proof coin production. Proof coins struck at San Francisco feature mirror-like fields and frosted design elements, created using specially polished dies and planchets. These coins are not intended for circulation but for collectors. Proof coins are struck multiple times to ensure sharp detail, and they are handled with extreme care to prevent imperfections. Proof coins typically carry the S-mint mark and are sold in protective packaging. While proof coins often have limited mintages compared to circulation coins, their value depends on preservation and collector demand. Over time, certain proof varieties may become more desirable if mintage numbers are particularly low. It is important to address exaggerated claims of massive dollar values because misinformation can mislead new collectors. Authentic market values are based on real sales data from auctions and dealer transactions. When evaluating any coin's potential worth, collectors should compare recent completed sales rather than relying on unsold listings with unrealistic prices. The idea of a penny being worth tens of millions of dollars captures attention because it challenges our expectations about value. Yet in reality, such extraordinary prices are typically reserved for unique historical rarities such as early American coins with extremely low survival rates. Modern coins like the 2019 cent simply do not possess the rarity necessary to command astronomical figures under normal circumstances. However, that does not mean the 2019 penny lacks importance. It represents continuity of American coinage tradition, modern minting technology, and the enduring presence of Abraham Lincoln's image in daily life. It also symbolizes how even common objects can inspire curiosity, research, and collecting passion. Every scratch on a circulated coin represents time passing through countless transactions. Each uncirculated coin preserved in a collection represents deliberate care and appreciation for detail. Together, these coins form a record of economic exchange across communities nationwide. Collectors often recommend using magnification tools such as 5x or 10x loops to examine coins carefully. Proper lighting is equally important because shadows and reflections can reveal features otherwise invisible. Handling coins by the edges prevents fingerprints that could permanently damage surfaces. Storage methods vary from simple coin flips to advanced archival holders designed to minimize chemical reactions. Moisture and air pollutants can cause toning or corrosion over time, affecting appearance and possibly value. Maintaining stable storage conditions protects investment and historical integrity. The thrill of coin collecting lies partly in possibility. Even though the odds of discovering a rare error are small, the act of searching creates excitement. Each coin inspected becomes a moment of anticipation. Most will be ordinary, but occasionally something unusual appears, rewarding patience and persistence. As we move further into the narrative of the 2019 penny, consider how its design connects past and present. Abraham Lincoln's leadership during the Civil War preserved the Union, and the Union shield on the reverse reinforces that legacy. In this way, every 2019 penny serves as a miniature monument carried in pockets across the nation. As we continue exploring deeper into the world of the 2019 1-cent coin, it becomes clear that this small piece of metal is connected to something far larger than most people imagine. It represents a continuation of one of the longest-running coin designs in American history, a design that began in 1909 and has survived 2 world wars, the Great Depression, technological revolutions, and dramatic economic changes. By the time 2019 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already undergone multiple reverse design changes, composition shifts, and minting upgrades, yet the portrait of Abraham Lincoln remained steady, almost timeless, as if watching over more than a century of American progress. The modern 2019 penny may look simple, but the engineering precision behind it is extraordinary. Each planchet must meet exact weight standards of 2.5 grams. Even a minor deviation can result in rejection during quality control. The copper plating must be even and consistent, because uneven plating can cause visible color differences or bubbling. When collectors find coins with plating blisters or surface irregularities, they often debate whether the cause occurred at the mint or after circulation damage. Understanding this difference is essential because genuine mint errors carry value, while post-mint damage usually does not. Inside United States mint facilities, automated inspection systems scan coins for visible flaws. Yet despite advanced technology, no manufacturing process is perfect. Occasionally, a coin slips through with a misaligned die strike or incomplete strike. These rare pieces are the ones that fuel collector excitement. Some off-center 2019 pennies have sold for noticeable premiums, especially when the date remains visible and the error is dramatic. The more visually striking the error, the greater the collector interest tends to be. Another fascinating detail is how dies themselves are created. A master hub containing the design impresses the image into working dies under intense pressure. If the hub shifts slightly during this process, doubling may occur. True doubled die varieties display separation lines that are consistent and part of the design itself. These are highly collectible when verified. Mechanical doubling, by contrast, appears flat and shelf-like and does not carry significant value. Knowing this distinction separates experienced collectors from beginners. The 2019 penny also exists in proof format, struck with specially prepared dies and polished planchets to create deep mirror fields. Proof coins are typically struck multiple times to ensure crisp detail, especially in Lincoln's beard and the shield lines on the reverse. When light reflects off a proof coin, the contrast between frosted devices and mirrored backgrounds creates a dramatic visual effect that many collectors admire. Proof coins are never meant for circulation, and preserving them in original packaging helps maintain value. Beyond technical details, the penny also carries emotional symbolism. Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most respected figures in American history. His leadership during the Civil War preserved the nation, and his image on the penny is not accidental. The Union shield reverse reinforces the idea of unity. Every time someone uses a 2019 penny in a transaction, they unknowingly carry a small symbol of national identity. In modern times, some debate whether the penny should continue to exist.
Production costs sometimes exceed face value, prompting discussions about eliminating the denomination.
If such a decision ever occurs, final year issues could become historically significant. That possibility adds another layer of speculation for collectors who preserve high-grade examples just in case future policy changes increase demand. Condition grading continues to play a crucial role in determining value. Coins graded MS65, MS66, MS67, or even higher are separated by extremely subtle differences.
A single contact mark in a focal area like Lincoln's cheek can reduce a grade. Because billions of pennies are struck and dumped into large containers immediately after minting, most receive small marks instantly. Finding one with minimal imperfections is surprisingly difficult, which is why top population coins sometimes command stronger premiums in competitive registry set markets. Registry competition has transformed modern coin collecting. Collectors compete to assemble the highest graded complete sets of Lincoln cents. When only a handful of coins exist in the very highest grade, bidders may pay aggressively to secure them. This does not mean the coin is rare in absolute numbers, but rare in that specific top grade. This concept of condition rarity explains why even common dates can sell for impressive amounts when preserved perfectly. Roll searching remains one of the most popular activities among penny collectors. Enthusiasts visit banks, purchase rolls of coins, and carefully inspect each one under magnification. The process requires patience and careful observation. Most coins show normal wear, but occasionally a shiny uncirculated piece appears, or perhaps a subtle die crack catches the eye. Even though the odds are small, the thrill of discovery keeps collectors engaged. Another factor influencing value is long-term survival rate. While billions of pennies are minted, many become damaged, corroded, or lost over time. High-grade survivors may represent only a tiny fraction of original mintage. Decades from now, collectors may look back at preserved 2019 coins as pristine examples of early 21st century minting. The idea of a penny being worth $84,700 million remains unrealistic under current market conditions. Such an astronomical number would require the coin to be unique and historically irreplaceable. In numismatic history, only extremely rare coins with tiny surviving populations approach million-dollar levels, and even those remain far below the exaggerated billions sometimes mentioned online. However, understanding why such claims spread is important. Viral headlines attract attention. They create excitement and drive people to check their change. In that sense, the myth itself fuels interest in coin collecting. Market reality depends on supply, demand, grading population, and verified auction results. Collectors rely on reputable auction houses and grading services to determine fair market value. When a 2019 penny graded in high mint state sells at auction, that transaction becomes part of price history, guiding future expectations. The composition of 99.2% zinc with copper plating also means intrinsic metal value remains minimal. Unlike older copper cents containing higher copper content, modern pennies do not carry significant melt value. Their collectible worth depends entirely on condition and rarity rather than precious metal content. When examining a 2019 penny closely, small details become fascinating. The sharpness of Lincoln's hair, the clarity of the shield lines, the alignment of lettering, and the brightness of the luster all contribute to overall eye appeal. Eye appeal plays a subtle but powerful role in determining desirability. Two coins with identical grades may differ in attractiveness, and collectors often prefer coins with vibrant original luster and minimal discoloration. Storage plays a critical role in preserving condition. Exposure to moisture can cause spotting. Oils from fingerprints can permanently stain copper surfaces. For this reason, serious collectors handle coins by their edges and use archival holders designed to prevent chemical reactions. Temperature stability also matters because extreme fluctuations can affect plating over long periods. Educational resources have expanded dramatically in the digital age. Online forums, video channels, and collector communities share information about newly discovered varieties and market trends. Beginners can learn quickly by studying high-resolution images of known error types and comparing them to coins found in circulation. As the 2019 penny continues circulating, each passing year adds historical distance. What feels modern today will eventually become part of numismatic history. Future collectors may examine 2019 coins as early examples from a transitional era of minting technology, and perhaps the most fascinating truth is this: the penny's greatest value may not be financial but educational. It teaches patience, observation, and appreciation for detail.
It connects individuals to history and craftsmanship. It turns everyday pocket change into an object of curiosity. Some collectors build complete date-amment sets of Lincoln cents, placing each year into albums that display the full timeline from 1909 to present. Adding the 2019 issue completes another chapter in that long series. Seeing all the dates lined together reveals continuity across generations. As the exploration of the 2019 1-cent coin continues, the story becomes even more fascinating because the life of a penny does not end when it leaves the mint.
In fact, that is when its real journey begins.
Every coin begins its life as a blank metal disc called a planchet, but once the striking machines imprint Abraham Lincoln's portrait and the Union Shield onto its surface, the coin becomes part of a massive monetary system moving through banks, businesses, and the hands of millions of people. A single 2019 penny might travel through hundreds of transactions in a single year, passing from a grocery store cashier to a customer, then into a pocket, then perhaps into a tip jar, then eventually into a bankroll where collectors might search through it hoping to find something unusual. What makes the 2019 penny particularly interesting is how it exists at a time when physical coins are slowly competing with digital transactions.
Credit cards, mobile payments, and online banking have reduced the amount of cash people carry daily. Yet the penny still survives as a symbol of traditional currency, reminding people that physical money once dominated everyday commerce.
For collectors, this creates an unusual moment in history where modern coins may someday represent the final chapters of widespread coin circulation. When collectors examine a 2019 penny carefully, they look for many subtle characteristics that most people overlook completely.
The brightness of the luster is one of the first clues.
Fresh coins from the mint display a brilliant glow known as mint luster, created by microscopic flow lines formed when metal moves under striking pressure.
When light moves across the surface, this luster appears to rotate like a spinning wheel. Coins that retain full luster without interruption are usually graded higher and considered more desirable. Another aspect collectors study is strike quality.
Even though minting machines operate with enormous force, sometimes designs are not fully struck into the metal.
Weak strikes may appear around Lincoln's hair or the shield details on the reverse side.
When a coin shows exceptionally sharp details, collectors often consider it superior even if the difference is extremely small. The rim of the coin is also important. A perfectly formed rim indicates the colored die worked properly during striking.
If the collar fails or shifts, unusual errors can occur such as broad strikes or coins with missing rims.
While rare, such mint errors are highly sought after because they reveal the mechanical processes behind coin production. For the 2019 penny, the Denver and Philadelphia mints produced the largest quantities. The Philadelphia mint traditionally does not place a mint mark on pennies, while Denver uses the small letter D next to the date. Collectors often organize their collections by date and mint mark, meaning the same year may appear multiple times in a coin album depending on where it was produced. The San Francisco Mint focuses mainly on proof coins. These proof pennies carry the S mint mark and are struck with special care for collectors. Because proof coins are produced in smaller numbers and have a more refined finish, they often become collectible immediately after release. Perhaps the most talked about 2019 penny variety remains the West Point W mint mark. For many decades, the West Point Mint primarily produced bullion coins and special issues, but in 2019 it released a limited number of Lincoln cents as a surprise to collectors.
The appearance of the W mint mark created excitement because it had never appeared on circulating Lincoln cents before.
Even though the coins were distributed within collector sets rather than random circulation, the novelty alone made them instantly collectible. Collectors who obtain these coins often submit them to grading services hoping to achieve extremely high grades such as MS69 or even the elusive perfect MS70. Achieving a perfect grade is extraordinarily difficult because even the smallest microscopic imperfection prevents the coin from reaching that level. But the pursuit of perfection drives many collectors to search through large numbers of coins hoping to find the best example possible. The market for modern coins is often influenced by grading population reports.
When grading companies publish statistics showing how many coins exist in each grade, collectors analyze those numbers carefully.
If only a few coins exist in the highest grade, competition for those examples can become intense, sometimes pushing prices far above what a normal coin might bring. Another fascinating element of the 2019 penny is its role in educational collecting. Many teachers and parents introduce children to coin collecting by encouraging them to examine their pocket change. The penny is the easiest coin to start with because it appears frequently in circulation. Children learn to identify dates, mint marks, and designs, turning everyday coins into tools for learning history and observation. Over time, these small educational experiences often grow into lifelong hobbies. Many experienced numismatists remember the moment they first discovered a coin that looked different from the others. That simple discovery sparked curiosity, leading them to research mint marks, historical coin designs, and the broader world of numismatics. The design of the 2019 penny itself reflects American symbolism. Abraham Lincoln's portrait represents leadership, perseverance, and unity. The Union shield on the reverse symbolizes the strength of the nation when its states remain united. Even the inscriptions carry meaning. In God We Trust reflects national heritage, while E Pluribus Unum expresses the concept of many states forming one nation. When billions of coins circulate each year, the majority become worn through everyday handling. Scratches, small dents, and discoloration gradually reduce their collectible condition. Yet somewhere within those billions, a small number remain nearly perfect. Perhaps they were stored in bankrolls and never circulated, or perhaps someone saved them immediately after receiving them as change. These survivors become the coins collector's treasure decades later. The difference between an average circulated penny and a high-grade mint state example may seem invisible at first glance. But under magnification, the difference becomes obvious. Tiny contact marks appear on most coins, especially on high points of the design. Coins with fewer marks and stronger luster naturally receive higher grades. Sometimes collectors discover coins with unusual color patterns known as toning. While toning can result from environmental exposure, certain natural toning patterns create beautiful rainbow colors that some collectors admire. If the toning is attractive and natural, it can actually increase desirability. However, artificial toning created intentionally to mimic natural colors is generally rejected by grading services. The concept of value in coin collecting can be confusing for beginners because value depends on many factors working together. Age alone does not guarantee worth. Some coins over 100 years old may still be relatively inexpensive if they were produced in huge quantities. Meanwhile, a modern coin only a few years old might sell for a premium if it is rare in top condition or displays a dramatic mint error. In the case of the 2019 penny, the realistic market values remain modest for most examples. Circulated coins remain worth face value, while uncirculated examples may sell for small premiums depending on condition. Error coins or extremely high-grade specimens can reach higher values, but astronomical claims involving billions of dollars belong more to viral headlines than genuine auction records. Still, the excitement created by those headlines serves a purpose. It encourages people to look more closely at the coins they carry every day. Someone who once ignored pennies might suddenly begin examining them carefully. That simple change in perspective can transform everyday money into an object of curiosity and discovery. The act of searching through coins is surprisingly relaxing for many collectors. It requires patience, focus, and attention to small details. In a fast-moving digital world, the slow process of studying physical coins offers a refreshing contrast, and as the story of the 2019 Lincoln cent continues unfolding year after year, collectors will keep preserving the finest examples, documenting new era varieties, and studying minting techniques that produce these small yet historically connected pieces of currency. The deeper we move into the story of the 2019 1-cent coin, the more we realize that its journey is not just about the minting process or collector value, but about the role this tiny coin plays in everyday life and historical continuity. A single 2019 penny may appear insignificant when compared to larger denominations, yet it represents a tradition that has survived for generations. When people receive a penny as change, they rarely think about where it came from, how it was made, or the incredible systems required to produce billions of coins every year. But behind that one small coin exists an entire network of mining, metal processing, engineering, design, transportation, and distribution. The metal that becomes a penny begins its life far away from the mint. Zinc and copper are mined from the earth and refined through industrial processes that remove impurities. These metals are then shaped into large coils or sheets used to create coin blanks. The blanks are punched out by high-speed machines and cleaned carefully to remove oils or debris that might affect the final strike. Only after these preparations does the blank enter the minting stage where it becomes recognizable as a coin. When the 2019 penny is struck, immense pressure forces the design into the metal surface. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln emerges clearly, along with the inscriptions and the date. The reverse side forms the Union shield with its vertical stripes and strong central bar symbolizing national unity. Each strike must be precise because even slight misalignment can create a mint error. Once coins are struck, they travel through counting machines and are packed into large containers. From there, they are transported by armored vehicles to Federal Reserve banks and then distributed to commercial banks. Eventually, they reach businesses and consumers through everyday transactions. This entire chain of movement happens quietly and efficiently, allowing coins like the 2019 penny to spread across the country for collectors. However, the story does not stop with circulation. Many people search through pennies specifically looking for unusual characteristics. Some collectors study coins under magnifying lamps for hours, examining every letter and line. They look for doubling in the date, cracks in the dies, unusual strike patterns, or plating anomalies. While the majority of coins show normal wear, occasionally something unusual appears, and that moment of discovery is what keeps collectors fascinated. Condition remains the most powerful factor in determining the collectible value of modern coins. Coins that enter circulation immediately begin to accumulate small scratches called contact marks. These marks occur when coins bump into each other inside bags or pockets. Even a brand new coin can receive marks during transportation. That is why coins with extremely clean surfaces are so rare despite high mintages. Professional grading services evaluate coins using magnification and strict standards. They consider luster, strike quality, surface preservation, and eye appeal. When a 2019 penny receives a high mint state grade, it becomes more attractive to collectors building competitive sets. Registry collectors often compete to own the highest graded examples of each year in mint mark, which can increase demand for top quality coins. The 2019 penny also reflects an interesting moment in economic discussion. For years, economists have debated whether the penny should remain part of the currency system. Because production costs sometimes exceed 1 cent, critics argue that the coin is inefficient. Supporters, however, believe the penny still plays an important role in pricing and tradition. The debate itself adds historical context to modern pennies like the 2019 issue. If the penny were ever discontinued, collectors might suddenly pay more attention to final year coins. This has happened in other countries where low denomination coins were eliminated. When production stops, collectors begin saving examples as historical souvenirs of a currency era. Although no final decision has been made regarding the US penny, the possibility remains an interesting topic among numismatists. Another fascinating part of the 2019 penny story is how modern technology has changed coin collecting. In earlier decades, collectors relied on printed catalogs and coin dealers for information. Today, high-resolution images and online databases allow collectors to study coins in incredible detail. Someone examining a 2019 penny can compare it instantly with images of known varieties or errors posted by other collectors around the world. Online auctions have also changed how coins are bought and sold. A collector who discovers a rare error can list the coin for sale and reach potential buyers globally within minutes. Auction results become public records that help establish realistic market values. This transparency makes it easier for collectors to understand what coins are truly worth. The idea that a penny might be worth $84,700 million often appears in viral headlines designed to capture attention. In reality, no verified sale of a 2019 penny has reached anything close to such astronomical figures. But the excitement created by these stories encourages people to look more closely at the coins they already have. Sometimes the real reward of coin collecting is not financial but educational. Studying coins teaches patience, research skills, and historical awareness. A collector examining a 2019 penny might begin learning about Abraham Lincoln's presidency, the Civil War, the symbolism of the Union shield, and the evolution of U.S. currency design. The penny also connects generations. Many people remember grandparents or parents who saved coins in jars or albums. Passing a collection to the next generation preserves not only the coins themselves but also the stories associated with them. A simple 2019 penny saved today might one day appear in a collection many decades later, reminding someone of the early 21st century. Another element collectors consider is long-term preservation. Copper-plated zinc coins are sensitive to environmental conditions. Exposure to humidity can cause spots or discoloration. For this reason, collectors store coins in protective holders designed to limit air exposure. Temperature stability and careful handling help preserve the coin's original appearance. The visual beauty of a coin often plays a role in its desirability. Even two coins with the same grade can look different. One might have vibrant original luster and attractive color, while another might appear dull. Collectors often choose coins with better eye appeal, even if both technically meet the same grading standards. The 2019 penny may circulate quietly through daily commerce, but for collectors it becomes a miniature work of art combined with a historical artifact. Its design, composition, and minting process represent a moment in time within the long history of American coinage. Years from now, collectors may look back at the 2019 penny as part of an era when physical currency still played a major role in everyday transactions. Future generations might view it with curiosity, much like collectors today examine coins from the early 20th century, and somewhere out there, among billions of coins produced that year, a few exceptional examples remain hidden: coins with perfect surfaces, strong strikes, and brilliant luster that survived untouched. Those rare survivors may become the most desirable pieces for collectors who appreciate the finest examples of modern minting. The story of the 2019 penny therefore continues long after it leaves the mint. It travels through pockets, purses, jars, and collections, quietly carrying its design and history wherever it goes. Each coin becomes part of a larger narrative about currency, commerce, and the human fascination with small objects that connect us to the past. And perhaps the most remarkable truth about the 2019 1-cent coin is that its journey is still unfolding. Every day new coins are discovered, examined, and preserved by collectors who understand that even the smallest denomination can hold a story worth telling. As the story of the 2019 1-cent coin continues unfolding, the journey of this small coin becomes even more fascinating when we consider the enormous scale of production and the incredible amount of effort required to maintain quality and consistency. Every year billions of pennies are produced, yet each individual coin must meet strict standards so that it functions properly in commerce, vending machines, and banking systems. A coin that is even slightly outside the required specifications could cause problems in automated counting systems, which is why the United States Mint carefully controls every stage of production. One of the most important specifications of the 2019 penny is its weight. The standard weight is 2.5 grams, a measurement that might seem extremely small but must remain very consistent across billions of coins. During manufacturing, specialized machines monitor planchets to ensure that they meet this exact standard before they are struck. If a planchet is too heavy or too light, it may be rejected before reaching the striking presses. This careful monitoring ensures that each penny functions correctly within the monetary system. The diameter of the penny is approximately 19.05 millimeters, and its thickness is around 1.52 millimeters. These measurements are carefully engineered so that the coin feels familiar when held in the hand and can move smoothly through coin-operated devices. The smooth edge, unlike the reeded edges found on quarters or dimes, gives the penny its distinct feel when compared with other coins. Collectors often find it amazing that a coin with such small dimensions can carry so much detail. Lincoln's portrait alone contains intricate lines representing hair, facial features, and clothing folds. On the reverse side, the Union shield includes delicate vertical lines and a central banner carrying the inscription E Pluribus Unum. Achieving this level of detail requires extremely precise die engraving and powerful striking pressure. Over time, however, the dies used to strike coins begin to wear down. Each die may strike hundreds of thousands of coins before showing signs of fatigue. As the die ages, tiny cracks can form in the steel surface. When this happens, raised lines may appear on the coins produced by that die. These raised lines are known as die cracks, and collectors often search for them because they reveal how the die deteriorated during its lifespan. In some cases, a die crack becomes large enough to create a dramatic shape across the coin's surface. Such events are sometimes called cuts when a portion of the die actually breaks away. When a cut appears on a coin, part of the design may be missing and replaced by a raised blob of metal. These unusual pieces are exciting finds for collectors who enjoy studying mint errors. The idea of discovering a rare error coin in everyday change continues to inspire collectors around the world. Someone might receive a handful of pennies from a store and casually drop them into a jar without looking closely. But another person might examine each coin under a magnifying glass, searching carefully for unusual features. This difference in attention is what allows rare discoveries to happen. Sometimes collectors find coins with off-center strikes. In these cases, the blank planchet was not perfectly aligned within the collar when the dies struck it. As a result, part of the design appears shifted toward one side while a blank crescent shape remains on the opposite side. If the date remains visible and the error is dramatic, such coins can attract significant interest among collectors. Another interesting error involves double strikes. If a coin fails to eject properly from the striking chamber, it may be struck again by the dies. This second strike can create overlapping images or distorted designs. These pieces offer a fascinating glimpse into the mechanical processes inside minting equipment. Beyond mint errors, the beauty of the 2019 penny often lies in its natural appearance when preserved carefully. A newly minted penny displays a bright reddish color known as red copper. Over time, exposure to air and handling causes the color to darken into shades of brown. Coins that retain their original red color for many years are often more desirable because they show minimal environmental exposure. Professional grading services classify copper coins using designations such as RD for red, RB for red brown, and BN for brown. These color designations help collectors understand how much of the original mint color remains. A 2019 penny graded as mint state red typically appears vibrant and fresh, while a brown example may look darker due to oxidation. Collectors who wish to preserve the original red color must store coins in protective holders away from humidity and air pollutants. Even small amounts of moisture can accelerate color changes. This is why serious collectors often keep coins in climate-controlled environments or sealed holders designed to limit exposure. Another fascinating aspect of the 2019 penny is how its production reflects modern engineering efficiency. The United States Mint uses advanced presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute. When multiplied across multiple machines operating simultaneously, this allows billions of pennies to be produced each year. Despite this incredible speed, quality control remains extremely high, demonstrating the precision of modern manufacturing technology. Transportation is another step many people never consider. After coins are minted, they are placed into large ballistic bags capable of holding thousands of dollars in pennies. These bags are transported by secure armored vehicles to Federal Reserve facilities. From there, the coins are distributed to banks and eventually enter circulation through businesses. By the time a 2019 penny reaches a consumer, it may have traveled hundreds or even thousands of miles from the mint where it was created. The person receiving the coin as change rarely imagines this journey, yet every penny carries that hidden history. For collectors, examining the date on a coin is like opening a tiny time capsule. The year 2019 represents a specific moment in modern history, a time when technology, global communication, and digital payments were transforming the economy. Yet despite these changes, the simple penny continued circulating as it had for generations. The fascination with coins worth enormous sums of money often captures public imagination. Headlines suggesting that a penny might be worth tens of millions or even billions of dollars spread quickly across the internet. While these claims are usually exaggerated, they spark curiosity. People begin checking their coins, wondering if they might have something rare. In reality, the value of a 2019 penny usually depends on condition, mint mark, and potential errors rather than dramatic price claims. Most circulated examples remain worth 1 cent, while pristine uncirculated pieces might sell for modest premiums. Rare errors or extremely high-grade specimens can bring higher prices, but realistic market values remain grounded in collector demand. Still, the excitement of searching never disappears. The possibility that a rare coin might be hiding in ordinary change continues to attract new collectors every year. Someone might start by checking pennies casually and eventually develop a deeper interest in numismatics, learning about coin design, history, and grading. Over time, the 2019 penny will gradually become older and more historically distant. Future collectors may study it the same way modern collectors study coins from the early 1900s. As decades pass, surviving high-grade examples may become more difficult to find, increasing their appeal among specialists who appreciate pristine coins from each era. And so the journey of the 2019 1-cent coin continues, moving quietly through pockets, purses, jars, and collections across the country. Each coin carries the portrait of Abraham Lincoln and the symbol of the Union Shield, reminding people of history even during the simplest everyday transaction. What seems like a tiny coin worth only a single cent actually represents engineering, history, artistry, and economic systems working together. Its story stretches from the mines where its metals were extracted to the mint where it was struck, from the banks that distribute it to the collectors who preserve it. Somewhere out there at this very moment, another 2019 penny is being examined under a magnifying glass, its surface reflecting light as someone searches carefully for hidden details. And in that moment of curiosity, the story of the penny continues to grow, one discovery at a time. As the journey of the 2019 1-cent coin continues, it becomes even more interesting when we start thinking about how time slowly transforms ordinary coins into historical artifacts. When the coin was first minted in 2019, it was simply another piece of circulating currency, produced in massive numbers and distributed quickly through banks and businesses. But as years pass, every coin begins to age, and that aging process gradually changes the way collectors view it. What once seemed extremely common may later become a representation of a specific era in American economic and cultural history. When billions of coins are produced in a single year, most of them are immediately released into circulation. They travel through grocery stores, restaurants, gas stations, and countless daily transactions. Many of them eventually become worn, scratched, or even lost. Some fall behind furniture, some end up in jars that remain untouched for years, and some are accidentally thrown away or melted in industrial processes. Over time, the number of surviving coins slowly decreases, especially those that remain in pristine condition. Collectors who understand this long timeline often save new coins early. Someone who carefully stored a 2019 penny in a protective holder the moment it was minted may unknowingly be preserving one of the finest surviving examples decades later. While millions of coins may exist initially, the number of high-grade survivors tends to shrink dramatically as time passes. One of the reasons the Lincoln cent remains so popular among collectors is the incredible continuity of its design. Abraham Lincoln's portrait first appeared on the penny in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of his birth. That decision marked the first time a real historical person appeared on a regularly circulating U.S. coin. Before that moment, American coins mostly featured symbolic figures like Lady Liberty rather than actual presidents. The decision to place Lincoln on the penny was revolutionary at the time, and more than a century later his portrait still appears on the coin. The 2019 penny therefore represents a continuation of that tradition. Every time someone holds a 2019 cent, they are also holding a design lineage that stretches back more than 100 years. The reverse side of the coin has changed several times throughout that history. Earlier pennies featured wheat ears, later designs showed the Lincoln Memorial, and eventually the Union Shield became the modern reverse. The shield design symbolizes the unity of the states within the nation. The vertical stripes represent individual states working together, while the horizontal bar across the top represents the federal government holding them together. These design elements are small but meaningful. Coins often carry national symbolism that reflects cultural identity and historical memory. The 2019 penny is therefore not just a piece of currency but also a miniature monument representing American heritage. Collectors often analyze coins using magnification to notice details invisible to the naked eye. Under strong lighting and magnification, the surface of a coin reveals tiny flow lines created during the striking process. These lines are responsible for the shimmering cartwheel effect known as mint luster. When a coin is tilted under light, the luster appears to rotate across the surface. Maintaining this original luster is extremely important for collectors seeking high grades. Even a slight rub or fingerprint can disrupt the delicate surface texture. That is why experienced collectors handle coins only by their edges and avoid touching the faces of the coin. Another interesting aspect of the 2019 penny is the way collectors categorize its color. Because the coin is copper-plated, its appearance changes slowly over time as the metal reacts with oxygen in the air. Freshly minted coins display a bright red color. As the coin ages, the color may gradually turn into shades of red-brown and eventually deep brown. Grading services classify these color stages using specific designations. A coin labeled RD indicates full red color, RB indicates red-brown with partial color change, and BN indicates brown where the original red color has mostly disappeared. For modern coins like the 2019 penny, maintaining the original red color can significantly influence collector appeal. While most collectors focus on condition and mint marks, some are fascinated by die varieties. A die variety occurs when a small difference exists in the die used to strike coins. This might include slight doubling in letters, small positioning differences, or subtle design variations. Once collectors identify a variety, they often catalog it and search for additional examples. Discovering a new variety can be exciting because it adds another layer to the study of coinage. Even a tiny difference in lettering may represent a distinct die used during production. Over time, collectors document these varieties and publish guides describing them. Modern technology has made it easier than ever to share such discoveries.
Collectors can photograph coins using digital microscopes and upload high-resolution images online.
Other collectors can then analyze the images and compare them with their own coins. This global collaboration has accelerated the study of modern coin varieties. Despite the technical details and market discussions, the charm of the penny often lies in its simplicity.
It is the smallest denomination of U.S. currency, yet it carries immense historical significance.
The phrase "a penny for your thoughts" reflects how deeply the coin has embedded itself in everyday language and culture. For many people, the penny also carries sentimental value.
Children often collect pennies in jars, saving them over long periods of time. Families sometimes pass down coin collections that include pennies from many different decades.
Within those collections, a 2019 penny might sit next to coins from the 1950s, the 1920s, or even earlier. Seeing these coins together tells a silent story of time passing. Each date represents a different moment in history, yet the coins themselves remain small, tangible reminders of those moments. Even though headlines sometimes claim that a modern penny might be worth enormous sums such as $84,700 million, the reality of the coin market is far more grounded. Genuine coin values are based on rarity, condition, historical significance, and collector demand. While extraordinary coins can indeed sell for large amounts, most modern pennies remain affordable collectibles rather than massive financial investments. However, the excitement created by those exaggerated stories does have a positive effect.
It encourages people to pay attention to the coins they handle every day.
Instead of ignoring pocket change, they begin examining it carefully. And sometimes that simple curiosity leads someone into the fascinating world of numismatics. The 2019 penny therefore plays two roles simultaneously.
In everyday commerce, it remains a simple 1-cent coin used in small transactions.
But in the hands of collectors, it becomes a subject of study, appreciation, and historical curiosity. And as time continues moving forward, the number of untouched high-grade examples from 2019 will gradually decrease. Coins that remain perfectly preserved today may become the finest representatives of their year in the future. Somewhere right now, a collector might be placing a shiny 2019 penny into a protective holder, carefully labeling the date and mint mark. That small act of preservation ensures that decades from now someone else will be able to look at that same coin and see it exactly as it appeared when it first left the mint. The journey of the 2019 1-cent coin is therefore far from over. It continues quietly through circulation, through collections, through auctions, and through the curiosity of people who choose to look closely at something most people overlook. And with every passing year, that tiny coin carries a little more history within its copper-colored surface. The story of the 2019 1-cent coin continues to grow even deeper when we begin to think about the journey each individual coin experiences after leaving the United States Mint. When the presses inside the minting facilities strike these coins, the process happens extremely fast. Massive machines stamp thousands of coins every minute, each one receiving the image of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the modern Union shield on the reverse. For the workers inside the mint, these coins are simply part of a continuous production line, yet every single piece that rolls out onto the conveyor belt will eventually travel into the hands of ordinary people across the country. Once the coins are produced, they are counted, sorted, and packed into large containers. These containers are then shipped to Federal Reserve banks where they begin their life in circulation. From there, the coins move outward into commercial banks, businesses, and cash registers. A single 2019 penny might begin its life in a bank vault, then move into a grocery store register, then into the pocket of a customer buying everyday items. That same coin may later travel through dozens or even hundreds of small transactions over many years. What makes coin collecting fascinating is that within this enormous ocean of circulating coins, a few special examples may exist that stand out because of their quality or unusual characteristics. A coin that escaped circulation entirely and remained untouched in mint condition may preserve the brilliant shine that it had the moment it was struck. When collectors talk about mint state coins, they are describing coins that still retain that original appearance. The shine on a freshly struck coin comes from the microscopic flow of metal during the striking process. When the coin blank is pressed between two dies under tremendous pressure, the metal moves outward and fills every small detail of the design. This movement leaves behind fine lines on the surface of the coin. When light hits those lines, it creates a rotating reflection effect often called cartwheel luster. If the coin remains untouched, this luster can remain visible even decades later. Another aspect that collectors pay attention to is the sharpness of the design. When a coin is struck with strong pressure from fresh dies, the details appear crisp and bold.
Lincoln's hair, the lettering, and the tiny elements of the shield on the reverse can appear extremely sharp under magnification.
Over time, the dies used to strike coins begin to wear down, and later coins may show slightly softer details. That is why collectors sometimes search for coins struck earlier in a die's life, when the details were at their sharpest. The 2019 penny continues the long tradition of the Lincoln cent that began in 1909. That year marked the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and the United States decided to honor him by placing his portrait on the 1-cent coin. At the time, this was considered a bold decision because American coins had rarely displayed real historical figures. The Lincoln cent quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in American history. Over the decades, the design of the reverse side changed several times. From 1909 until 1958, the coin featured two wheat ears framing the words 1 cent. Because of this design, those coins are often called wheat pennies. In 1959, the reverse changed to show the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. That design remained in use for 50 years. In 2010, the United States Mint introduced the Union Shield design that appears on the 2019 penny. The shield symbolizes national unity. The vertical stripes represent the states, and the horizontal bar across the top represents the federal government that holds them together. Above the shield appears the motto E pluribus unum, a Latin phrase meaning out of many, one. These small symbols carry deep meaning, reminding people that the coin represents a nation built from many individual states and communities. Although pennies appear to be solid copper, modern pennies are actually made from a different structure. The coin consists primarily of zinc at the center, with a thin layer of copper plating on the outside. This composition was introduced in 1982 as a way to reduce production costs. Copper had become too expensive to use as the main metal, so the mint switched to zinc while preserving the familiar copper appearance. Because the copper layer is very thin, collectors must be careful when cleaning coins. Cleaning may remove or damage the delicate surface, which significantly reduces collector value. In the coin collecting world, cleaning a coin is generally considered harmful because it destroys the natural surface that collectors want to see. Sometimes unusual minting errors occur during the production process. An error coin might be struck off-center, struck with a cracked die, or struck on an incorrect metal blank. These errors can make coins extremely interesting to collectors. A normal coin might be worth only its face value, but a dramatic error could make the same coin much more desirable. For the 2019 penny, collectors have searched through rolls of coins hoping to discover unusual varieties or errors. Roll searching is a common hobby within the coin collecting community. A collector might obtain several rolls of pennies from a bank and examine each coin carefully under magnification. The goal is to find rare varieties, unusual minting errors, or high-quality coins that deserve to be preserved. Many collectors enjoy this activity because it combines the thrill of discovery with the study of history. Every coin has a story behind it. Some coins travel through thousands of everyday purchases, while others remained hidden in drawers or jars for years before being rediscovered. Stories sometimes circulate online claiming that certain modern pennies are worth enormous sums of money. Headlines may suggest that a simple penny could be worth tens of thousands or even millions of dollars. While rare coins can indeed sell for high prices at auction, those values usually apply to extremely rare historical coins or unique minting errors. Most modern circulating pennies remain worth only a small amount unless they possess a truly exceptional feature. Even so, the excitement created by these stories often inspires new collectors to start examining their coins more closely. Someone who never paid attention to pocket change may suddenly begin looking carefully at each coin they receive. That curiosity often leads to learning about mint marks, coin grading, metal composition, and the broader history of coinage. The 2019 penny therefore becomes a gateway into a much larger world. A person who begins by looking at a single modern coin may soon find themselves exploring coins from many different decades. They might learn about the wheat penny era, the steel cents produced during World War II, or the famous double-die pennies that collectors treasure. Coin collecting is unique among hobbies because it combines history, art, economics, and even a little bit of detective work. Each coin carries clues about the time when it was produced. The metal composition reflects economic conditions. The design reflects artistic choices and national identity. The wear on the coin reveals how it traveled through everyday life. Imagine a single 2019 penny that spent its early years moving through cash registers and pockets. Over time, it might develop tiny scratches, small areas of wear, and a darker tone as the copper surface reacts with the environment. Decades later, someone might discover that same coin in an old jar of change. Even though it may still be worth only 1 cent in face value, it now represents a small artifact from the early 21st century. Some collectors specialize in saving coins from each year in the highest possible condition. For them, a perfect example of a 2019 penny could become an important part of a complete date set. When coins are preserved in protective holders, they remain protected from fingerprints, moisture, and environmental damage. Professional grading services also play an important role in the coin market. These companies examine coins under controlled conditions and assign numerical grades that describe the coin's condition. Once graded, the coin is sealed in a protective holder that confirms its authenticity and grade. As we move deeper into the story of the 2019 1-cent coin, it becomes clear that even the smallest coin in circulation carries a remarkable journey through time, economics, craftsmanship, and everyday human life. A single penny might appear insignificant when someone receives it as change from a store purchase, yet behind that small copper-colored surface lies an entire world of history, engineering, and cultural meaning. When the United States Mint began producing the 2019 Lincoln cent, the process involved a complex chain of preparation steps long before the coin was actually struck. Sheets of metal were first created using large industrial rolling machines. These sheets consisted primarily of zinc, coated with a very thin outer layer of copper that gives the coin its familiar reddish color. From these metal sheets, round discs known as planchets were punched out using powerful presses. Each planchet then moved through cleaning and polishing processes to remove oils and tiny imperfections. These blanks were carefully prepared because any contamination on the surface could affect the quality of the finished coin. After cleaning, the blanks passed through an upsetting mill that slightly raised the edges, creating a rim that would help the design strike more clearly. Finally, the planchets arrived at the coining presses. Here, enormous mechanical pressure forced the blank between two engraved dies. One die contained the portrait of Abraham Lincoln along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 2019. The opposite die contained the Union Shield design with the words "United States of America, 1 cent," and "E Pluribus Unum." In a fraction of a second, the metal flowed into every tiny groove of the dies, capturing the design permanently. What is fascinating about this process is the precision required to create billions of coins that all look nearly identical. Even though the minting machines work extremely quickly, the alignment of the dies must remain accurate to ensure the designs appear correctly centered on the coin. If something shifts even slightly during production, unusual errors may occur. For collectors, these minting errors are often among the most exciting discoveries. An off-center strike, for example, occurs when the planchet is not perfectly aligned between the dies. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing and the blank metal edge becomes visible. Another type of error is a die crack, which appears when a small fracture develops in the die after repeated use. Coins struck with such a die show raised lines on the surface that trace the crack pattern. Sometimes coins are struck multiple times by accident, creating overlapping images that collectors call double strikes. In other cases, a coin may be struck on a planchet intended for a completely different denomination. These unusual pieces immediately attract attention because they reveal rare moments when the normal minting process did not go exactly as planned. For the 2019 penny, collectors have examined countless rolls and bags of coins hoping to discover such unusual examples. The activity of searching through rolls of coins has become a hobby in itself. A person might visit a bank, obtain several rolls of pennies, and then spend hours examining each coin carefully under magnification. The excitement comes from the possibility that something rare could be hidden among thousands of ordinary coins. Beyond errors, collectors also pay attention to mint marks. The 2019 penny was produced at multiple mint facilities. Coins struck in Philadelphia typically carry no mint mark, while those struck in Denver display a small D. These tiny letters appear on the front of the coin near the date. Although the differences seem small, collectors often enjoy assembling sets that include coins from each mint location. Another detail that influences collector interest is the condition of the coin. A coin that has traveled through years of circulation will develop scratches, small dents, and areas where the design becomes worn. In contrast, a coin that remained protected from the moment it was minted may still display its full original luster and sharp details. These pristine examples are much more desirable to collectors. Coin grading helps determine how well preserved a coin remains. Professional grading services use a scale from 1 to 70 to evaluate condition. A coin graded near the top of the scale represents an exceptional example with minimal imperfections. Achieving such a high grade is very difficult for coins that were produced for everyday circulation, because the 2019 penny was minted in enormous quantities. Most examples will always remain common. However, within those large numbers, a few coins may exist in nearly perfect condition. Collectors sometimes compete to own the finest known example of a particular date and mint combination. When a coin achieves the highest certified grade, it can become surprisingly valuable because of its rarity at that level of preservation. Stories sometimes circulate claiming that a modern penny could be worth astonishing sums of money, even figures like $84,700 million. These dramatic numbers capture attention and create curiosity about coins. In reality, the market value of a coin depends on many factors, including rarity, condition, historical importance, and collector demand. While some rare coins truly sell for thousands or even millions of dollars, most modern pennies remain modest in value, yet the excitement created by these stories often inspires people to look more closely at their coins. Someone who never paid attention to pocket change may suddenly begin examining each coin they receive. That simple curiosity can open the door to learning about mint marks, design changes, metal composition, and the broader history of coinage. The Lincoln cent itself represents one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. Since its introduction in 1909, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln has remained on the coin for more than a century. Over that time, the reverse design changed several times, reflecting different artistic interpretations and historical milestones. In the early years, the coin displayed two wheat ears framing the denomination. These wheat pennies remained in production until 1958. In 1959, the reverse design changed to depict the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., honoring the monument dedicated to the president. That design lasted 50 years before being replaced in 2010 by the modern Union Shield. The shield design chosen for the modern penny carries symbolic meaning about unity and strength. The vertical stripes represent the individual states that form the nation, while the horizontal bar across the top symbolizes the federal government that unites them. Above the shield appears the Latin phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. This motto captures the idea that a diverse group of states and people can form a single nation. When people hold a 2019 penny, they are therefore holding more than just a coin used for small purchases. They are holding a miniature piece of national symbolism, a continuation of more than a century of design tradition, and a product of sophisticated industrial craftsmanship. Another interesting aspect of pennies is the way they change color over time. Freshly minted coins often appear bright red because the copper surface reflects light strongly. As the coin ages, exposure to air causes gradual oxidation, turning the color darker. Collectors classify these color stages as red, red-brown, and brown. A coin that retains its full red color many years after minting can be especially attractive to collectors. Despite debates about whether the penny should continue to be produced, the coin remains deeply embedded in American culture. Phrases such as "a penny for your thoughts" or "every penny counts" reflect the coin's symbolic role in everyday life. Many people save pennies in jars, piggy banks, or small collections started during childhood. Within those jars and collections, the 2019 penny may sit quietly among coins from many different years. At first glance, it may look identical to countless other pennies, but over time it becomes part of a historical timeline. Decades in the future, collectors might look back at coins from the early 21st century as artifacts from a specific economic and cultural era. Imagine a collector many years from now opening a box of preserved coins and finding a perfectly preserved 2019 penny still shining with its original luster. That coin would represent a moment frozen in time, a reminder of the year it was created and the society that used it in everyday transactions. Coins possess a unique ability to travel through generations. Paper money often wears out and must be replaced, but metal coins can survive for centuries if properly preserved. And now the journey of the 2019 1-cent coin finally reaches the end of its long story, but in many ways the story of this tiny coin never truly ends. A small copper-colored coin that many people ignore or drop into jars without a second thought actually carries a remarkable legacy. The 2019 penny represents more than just 1 cent of purchasing power. It represents history, technology, art, economics, and the continuous movement of money through society. When the 2019 penny first left the minting presses, it was bright, clean, and flawless. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln stood proudly on the front of the coin, with the words "In God We Trust" arching above his head and the word "Liberty" positioned beside him. The date 2019 marked the year of its birth. On the reverse side, the Union Shield design stood strong and bold, symbolizing the unity of the United States. The banner across the shield carried the famous Latin phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. From that moment forward, each coin began a different journey. Some coins entered circulation immediately, traveling through stores, markets, restaurants, and banks. Others were saved by collectors who appreciated their pristine condition and decided to protect them for the future. A few coins were placed into mint sets in sealed packaging, preserved exactly as they appeared the day they were produced. Every coin has a story written silently across its surface. A penny that circulated heavily might develop scratches, worn edges, and darker coloration as the copper plating reacts with the air. Another penny might remain almost untouched, preserving the bright red color that collectors call original mint red. Over time, these small differences become important to collectors who study coins carefully and assign them grades based on condition and preservation. The 2019 penny weighs approximately 2.5 grams and measures about 19.05 millimeters in diameter. Its core metal is zinc, covered by a thin layer of copper that gives the coin its familiar appearance. Although it looks simple, the engineering behind the coin is surprisingly sophisticated. Modern minting machines strike coins with tremendous precision and speed, creating billions of nearly identical pieces each year. Despite that precision, occasional minting errors can occur. These rare mistakes make coin collecting exciting because they introduce the possibility that something unusual might be discovered. A coin could be struck slightly off-center, showing a crescent-shaped blank area where the design did not reach. Another coin might display a crack from a damaged die, creating a raised line across the design. In rare cases, coins may even be struck twice or on the wrong metal blank. Collectors often search through rolls of pennies hoping to find these unusual examples. The activity is sometimes called coin roll hunting. Someone might bring home several rolls of pennies from a bank and examine each coin under magnification. Most coins will appear normal, but occasionally a surprising discovery may appear. Stories on the internet sometimes claim that a simple penny might be worth astonishing amounts of money, even figures like $84,700 million. These dramatic numbers capture attention and spark curiosity. In reality, the true market value of a coin depends on several factors, including rarity, condition, historical importance, and collector demand. Most 2019 pennies remain worth only their face value in everyday circulation, while uncirculated examples may sell for small collector premiums. However, the excitement created by these stories plays an important role in the world of coin collecting. They encourage people to look closely at coins rather than ignoring them. Someone who begins checking pennies out of curiosity may soon discover a passion for numismatics, the study and collection of coins. The Lincoln cent itself holds a special place in American history. Introduced in 1909, it became the first regularly circulating United States coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic image. The choice of Abraham Lincoln honored his leadership during one of the most challenging periods in American history. More than a century later, his portrait still appears on the coin, making it one of the longest-running designs in American currency. Over the years, the reverse side of the penny has changed several times. The earliest Lincoln cents featured two wheat ears framing the words 1 cent. These wheat pennies were produced until 1958. In 1959, the reverse changed to the Lincoln Memorial design, which remained in use for 50 years. In 2010, the United States Mint introduced the modern Union Shield design that appears on the 2019 penny. This shield symbolizes the strength and unity of the nation. The vertical stripes represent the individual states, while the horizontal bar across the top symbolizes the federal government that binds them together. The message is simple but powerful: many states, many people, united as one nation. Although the penny has faced debate about whether it should continue to exist, it remains deeply rooted in everyday culture. People often drop pennies into jars or piggy banks, sometimes without realizing that those coins quietly accumulate over time. Children often begin their first coin collections with pennies because they are easy to find and inexpensive to save. Inside those jars and collections, coins from many years sit side by side. A 2019 penny may rest next to coins from the 1980s, the 1950s, or even earlier decades. Each coin represents a different moment in time, yet they all share the same basic purpose: serving as small pieces of circulating money. One of the most fascinating things about coins is their durability. Paper money wears out quickly and must be replaced, but coins can survive for generations. Ancient coins from civilizations thousands of years old are still discovered and studied today. The same could eventually happen with modern coins like the 2019 penny. Long after our current generation is gone, some of these coins may still exist in collections, museums, or archaeological discoveries. Imagine a future historian holding a 2019 penny many decades from now. That historian might study the coin as a physical artifact from the early 21st century. The design, the metal composition, and even the small scratches on its surface would tell a story about the time in which it circulated. What seems like a simple object today may become an important historical piece tomorrow. That is one of the reasons coin collecting remains such a fascinating hobby. Each coin connects the present with the past and carries a piece of history forward into the future. The journey of the 2019 1-cent coin therefore never truly stops.
Some coins will continue circulating for years, passing through countless hands during everyday purchases.
Others will be saved by collectors who appreciate their historical and artistic significance. A few may even become prized examples because of rare minting errors or exceptional condition, and somewhere, perhaps in a small jar of spare change, a bright 2019 penny may still be waiting to be discovered by someone curious enough to take a closer look. That moment of curiosity is where every coin collector's story begins. So while the market rumors may speak about enormous values like $84,700 million, the real value of the 2019 penny lies in its story. It is a story of craftsmanship, national symbolism, and the quiet journey of money through everyday life. From the moment it was struck inside the mint to the countless places it travels afterward, the 2019 penny continues to move through time, carrying the portrait of Abraham Lincoln and the symbol of national unity. What began as a tiny piece of metal becomes a lasting reminder that even the smallest objects can hold remarkable stories, and that is where the long journey of the 2019 1-cent coin finally reaches its end, not as the end of the coin itself, but as the end of the story being told here, while the coin continues its silent journey through the world, one small transaction at a time.